everyone, and welcome to Stillwater. This is a game that really intrigued me because I like the art style and you play as an investigator, so let's just dive in, see what happens. But yeah, the story seemed interesting as well. Did I hit start? I did not. This is a work of fiction. A resemblance to any real-life people is purely coincidental. Alright, cool. Got horror, mature themes, violence, strong language. Alright, you got all that? I'm so sorry, but I can't stay here anymore, Nina. I feel like I'm going crazy. Calm down, if we just talk it out. So many strange things keep happening, one after another. Every day there is a damn dripping sound. I thought it was just something leaking at first, but I checked every faucet, every ceiling, everything, and still I hear it everywhere, constantly echoing in my ears. Please, listen to me. Oh, but the water, that damn water. Water? Yes, it's everywhere. Pools of it are all over the house, and every time I try to mop it up, another will appear. There's no end to it. But it's at night when it comes. What are you talking about? I hear someone, or something, walking along the hallways at night. Maybe it's just my grandfather. No, Nina, it's not him. I thought it was, but it's not. But I've seen that thing. Huh? I've only glimpsed at it once, but I am more than certain that thing was not your grandfather. Ever since that night, I would lock my door and pray it would walk past my room. I don't know what's going on, but I swear it just keeps walking, and always walking on pools of water. Ooh, this is already getting interesting. Sometimes I hear them randomly. Their steps are erratic and faint, but I can still hear them. It's just steady pace up and down the halls. But I think recently it's no longer like that. What do you mean? Every morning I follow to see where the wet footsteps lead. It walks towards something more clearly than before. It would walk down the halls, climb the stairs, and turn corners. All of it I'd follow. Eventually, the trail would come to a stop, and it would all stop right by your grandfather's room. His room? If this is some sick joke to scare me away, then please stop. It's not a joke, Nina. I meant when I said that there is something wicked going on in this house. That can't be true. I know this is a lot, but you have to believe me. I can't stay here any longer. I'm sorry, Nina. It's okay. I understand. Thank you for taking care of my grandfather up until now, and I'm sorry for all the stress I've caused you. I'll be sure to pay you right away as soon as I... Nina, listen to me. I don't know what's happening around here, but... The woman on the phone cautiously looks around, turning her head constantly back and forth, looking over her shoulder to find if any others listening in. She grips the phone so close to her ear in a vice-like grip before speaking again in a hushed tone. Something terrible is lurking in this house. I don't know what it is, but please, as soon as you get back, take your grandfather and just leave this place. Leave? I can't just leave everything behind. We have nowhere else to go. Please, Nina, this place is not safe. The rumors, they're true. The curse is real. My family is not cursed. Nina, at this rate, you and your family will... Enough. A pause. Cold and sharp tenseness strains the calls as both women, exhausted and stressed beyond their comfort, try to stifle their growing frustrations towards one another. Neither yielding to the other's thoughts, only leaving anger and hurt to fester through the silence. After what feels like a suffocating stillness, Nina finally sighs heavily and responds bluntly to the caretaker. Look, I don't know what you heard or saw, but I can't just leave things like this. Whoever or whatever they are, they will answer to me. I won't let them have their way. I don't have time wasting my energy on this stupid curse. So if you can't help me, then so be it. I'll find a way. Nina, my grandfather is all I have left. He is all I have left. Ooh, is that the grandfather in the back? Or there's like some shadow demon? Uh-oh. Dinner, 7 a.m. Dinner? Diner? Oh, I was like, hang on a second. That said diner. I know how to read, I promise. Amid a foggy morning, there sits a man by the corner of a booth. He drinks black coffee and, depending on his mood, occasionally orders a donut. And today, it was just a black coffee. Ugh, I swear I've never seen that amount of paperwork in my life. A freaking mountain worth of it. You're a valuable member of our team, Hugo. My foot. I'm starting to believe that I was bamboozled into joining their agency. Ugh. Hugo Laurent, age 30, takes a good look at his cup of joe and chugs it all in one sitting. So yeah, I think we play as Hugo, and we're gonna go to that house with the grandfather. Obviously there's something more going on. He then continues to grumble to himself about last night's grueling work at the office. I really do need to find a different job. As he contemplates these poor life choices, he looks out towards the early mist. There was something inherently terrifying about the fog to him, how it engulfs everything and nothing. Even if it disappears, it always leaves behind traces. Proof of it remaining. Even in a quaint little town like this, I can't even run away from my fate, I guess. Hugo finally stares at the compiled newspaper clippings he put together. Some of them from recent events, but mainly all were past headlines of missing person cases. Oh. No matter how many times I see this, it's still just as hard to look at. Fixating case after case, he can't help but remind himself that there is a reason for all this. An all too personal reason. Seeing strange things comes with a price. In the end, I'm the one doing this to myself. Sounds rough. May I join ya? See you? Another familiar voice interrupts his train of thought. He slowly looks up to see the one responsible, although reluctantly. Oh, that's you. Good morning, Hugo. No. Good morning, Hugo. Hugo scowls and turns away from him. He then gathers the files and shoves it back into the binder. Meanwhile, the tall man takes this at an initiative and sits at the opposite end of the booth. He greets the waitress passing by and orders himself a hefty body breakfast special with an extra plate. My god. As usual, the waitress is happy to oblige and goes back to the counter to relay his order. The man then looks back at Hugo. He sees the empty cup and then now I'm jumbled up, and the now jumbled newspaper clippings. All the while, Hugo was trying to ignore him. I don't know what voice to give you. You seem, I don't know, mysterious but also friendly and charismatic. You really should eat something with that black coffee. Not ordering any donuts today? I'm fine, Noah. I'm just not in the mood today, okay? Not even a little. There is a momentary silence between them before Noah disturbs it once more. Well, too bad for you. I ordered a big breakfast just for the two of us. Two? As if the world could grace Noah with an even more perfect punchline, the food arrives. What is that? Why? Can you see my mouse? Yeah, what is this? Are these like potatoes or something? That is a big breakfast. You are gonna be full for the next 3 days. Why the hell did you order for the two of us? Just eat what you want to eat. Don't worry about me. Wow. I'm not even gonna say that. Right, Hugo? Are you even listening to me? Come on, we both know that if you don't eat now, who knows when you will. And I'm not about to let you faint again. So open wide. Noah D. Leon, age 27, a natural-born charmer, is also the only person in the world who lovingly threatens him to eat every day. With a pensive look, Hugo finally gives in and eats the generous spoonful without further complaints. Does he get the extra coffee, or is that Noah's? It's good. Right? Good food will always cheer you up. Damn him, I got swept away again. Oh, by the way, the chief would be out for a business trip. She mentioned it would be for a couple of days. When did she tell you this? I didn't hear anything about it. Yesterday, I think. Yesterday? She told me to sort out the cabinets yesterday. She didn't mention anything about a business trip. I guess it was a pretty sudden one. Well, I mean, she did tell me to tell you. And lucky me, I know where you go every morning. You know what? I'm not surprised anymore. Well, what do you want to do? Well, technically have the day off. We technically have the day off. I'm gonna head back to the office. There's a couple of boxes I didn't get a chance to sort out. In that case, I'll come with you. Why? You could just rest for the day and pass up this opportunity to get you to know better, Curia? Quit it. After their enlightening banter, the two of them finish their breakfast, pay for their meals, and head to Hugo's car. I I didn't realize there was going to be so much reading in this. I hope that's okay. You enjoying it so far? Because I want to know where this goes. As Noah opens the door to the passenger seat, he notices a bloodhound sleeping inside. Oh, hello. Big Dog stirs at the sound of the car opening and lazily stares at Noah. Ah, I'm sorry, big guy. He then closes the door while trying not to make too much noise to disturb its occupant. Colby? At the sound of his name, his heavy-lidded eyes slowly peek to see who calls for him. It is his one and only partner, his human. As it finally realizes who he is or where he is, the old bloodhound stirs up from his sleep, pounces at Hugo, and proceeds to wag his tail uncontrollably. Good morning again, Colby. Have a nice nap. Colby, 8 years old, Hugo's most faithful and loving partner in crime, has the biggest tendency to just sleep all over the place. Noah, who is witnessing all this from the backseat, chuckles to himself. He's amazed and slightly defeated as Hugo's sudden surge of energy. Doesn't matter how many times I try, when it comes to boosting up his mood, no one can beat Colby. Agency 750. So I wonder how long this takes. Is it gonna be over a week span that he gets this message and he goes to this house, or is it just in one day? Who knows? The three head back to the office. Space is just the same as Hugo left it. A decent, organized mess. To his credit, for the amount of boxes he painstakingly went through, he believes he did a fair job. Albeit, it could have been better. Wow, you really outdid yourself, Hugo. It looks less crowded. Ah, shut it, will ya? Said I was gonna go get to it. Thanks, boy. Before Hugo could continue to give deserved head pats, he noticed something. Someone. A woman standing timidly peering outside from the storefront. She looks a bit frantic and even more restless with her disheveled and ill-fitted clothes, drawing emphasis to her already visible petite frame. Is this going to be Nina? The woman tries to grasp the door handle several times, but stops before she could touch it. Her brows furrow, agitated and distressed about something, so much to the point it is preventing her from just simply reaching out for help. However, when she finally makes eye contact with Hugo, she immediately rushes in. I'm so sorry. I know that the close sign is up, but I saw you come in and I... Are you alright, miss? I need your help. My grandfather, he... Before she could continue explaining, Noah swiftly cuts in front of Hugo and intervenes, in all too practiced manner. It's okay, miss. We'll hear what you have to say. So please, why don't you just sit right over there? Noah gestures to one of the empty seats at the other side of the office. The poor woman hesitates for a moment. She clutches desperately to the strap of her purse, her eyes focusing apprehensively on them and at the adjusted seat. My God, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to read this, but my brain is just all muddled today for some reason. I really shouldn't have picked a heavy word game. After mulling over Noah's offer, she quickly glances back and nods. The woman then walks towards the corner of the room and sits at the edge of the sofa. Her posture is wary and tense, giving no sign of comfort for even this brief moment of peace. Can you start off by telling us your name? I apologize for earlier. I'm usually a bit more composed than this, but I guess I'm failing at that too. My name is Nina Mortimer. Ah, hello, Miss Nina. My name is Noah de Leon. I am one of the assistants here. That big guy next to you is our other lovely assistant, Colby. And the one brooding over there is private investigator Hugo Laurent. I'm not brooding, I'm just tired. And our chief is away on business, but I think we can still accommodate you. So, how can we help, Miss Nina? For a moment, Nina appeared a bit more laxed, more hopeful, maybe even relieved from this warm welcome. However, she once again tenses up. The guilt and shame come rushing back to her, visible by the creases of her brow as she once again realizes why she is here. I need help watching over my grandfather tonight. Tonight? Yes, I know this is a strange request, but my hands are tied on this. It has to be tonight. I'm sorry, Miss Nina, but I don't quite understand. Is your grandfather in any danger? I think someone is trying to take him away. Take him? Miss Nina, I think you should contact the police right away. They're far more equipped at handling this kind of situation. No, they're not. I've tried requesting their help, but they've given me the same answer verbatim for weeks now. They would send someone out to watch over the manor for the entire day, but at the end of their routine, they would always report back to nothing unusual. They saw no one else leaving or arriving at the house other than me or the caretaker. And despite telling them all in detail about the letters and all the strange things that's been happening, there is nothing that they can do about it. Just sit around until it escalates even more. I can't wait any longer. Any more than this and it'll be all too late. If only I knew who Lewis was. Lewis? She lets out a gasp. Her hands shot out to cover her mouth, realizing she had said too much so carelessly. She tries to avert their gaze, but Hugo stares persistently at her. Miss Nina, who is Lewis? Are they the one all causing all of this? Once more, she contemplates, her brows knit closely together as she bites her lips nervously. It's as if the words she wanted to say have suddenly died out, too heavy to even utter. A mistake she can't take back. So, if they're saying that there's a curse on this family, well, supposedly, is Lewis this maybe an outer being? Or a witch? A wizard who puts curses on people? I don't know, I guess we'll find out. Before the silence stretches further, Noah speaks to Nina with a gentle and reassuring tone. Miss Nina, I know it's scary, all of these things you've mentioned to us so far. No one should ever have to experience, especially by themselves. And I assure you, we will listen to all of it. I promise. Wild and manic eyes search deeply at them, trying desperately to concern any doubt or mistrust on their faces. However, all she sees are people who are willing to give their time to simply listen to her, to actually help her. From this alone, Nina looks to the side where her purse is and opens it. Tucked inside one of the pockets, she takes out a single slightly crumpled envelope with a pigmented red wax seal pressed in the middle. At a glance, Hugo can tell right away that this letter appears to be a bit more worn out and antique. And yet, despite its delicate form, it remains well preserved, well kept. It's as if the letter itself was untouched by time, forever waiting to be opened. Grandfather has been receiving cryptic letters for the past month now. The letters didn't come with an address or the name of the sender, but this one is different from the rest. This had the name Lewis on it. He hands over the letter. Hugo notices her hand slightly shaking. Nina is still avoiding his gaze, but he knows she is trying in earnest. But before he could reach out his hand, he senses it. Why is it going dark? Oh no. A faint shift in the room, unnoticeable to the others, but all too glaringly clear to him. Has this happened in the past with him? There is something very wrong with this letter. Suddenly, Hugo recoils his hand away in pain, like being struck with something sharp so spontaneously, so memorable, that even if the pain disappeared within seconds, a hint of it remains. Something so small, akin to a prick from a rose's thorn, or more like a paper cut. Oh, that's it? You just got a paper cut? Why are you so dramatic, Hugo? Are you alright? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. No, I'm fine, Miss Mortimer. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Hugo stares squarely at the cut. A thin red line starts to form slowly by the top of his index finger, trailing down and stopping just above the first crease. A red so clearly visible, it's taunting. That doesn't look like a normal paper cut to me. Let me get you a band-aid. It's fine, Noah, I don't need one. But really, it's fine. It doesn't even hurt that much. Noah takes one good look at him before sighing I don't know that word. I don't know how to pronounce that. And sitting back down in his chair, still eyeing on Hugo's hand, Hugo shrugs and returns his attention back to the letter. But this time, luckily, nothing happens. For it to reach all the way out here with just a letter alone, truly terrifying. Carefully, he removes the content of the envelope and unfolds it. At first, it looks like any other normal written message. A person named Lewis is asking the other, Henry, to come meet him by the lake at midnight, needing to share something important with him. However, what's eerily striking about this is not the letter itself. Is it the way it's worded? Ooh, secret message? Appearing at the bottom of the page, a message scrawled unlike the rest stands visibly out to Hugo. A message that shouldn't be there. Ooh, what does it say? What does it say? Remember our promise, Henry. Ooh. Oh, are they being blackmailed, maybe? When did you receive this letter? Yesterday. And your grandfather? Where is he now? He's currently back at the house with a caretaker. I promised them I wouldn't be out for long. I made an agreement with them, you see? Oh, what sort of agreement? The caretaker. We have now agreed to watch over my grandfather, but only during the day. Before nightfall, they would leave exactly at the same time. Before nightfall? I wanted to believe that this whole thing was an elaborate scheme to scare my family away. I know this sounds crazy, but at one point, I thought everyone was in on it. The mail carriers, the officers, the caretakers, everyone had a hand at making our family suffer. But this one was different. Up until now, I've never heard anyone by that name. Not a relative or a family friend, but they clearly know who grandfather is. If I don't do something about this, I'll lose him too. Just by uttering those words alone, Nina begins to break down. The stress, the anxiety, the fatigue of it all was finally catching up to her. Her body hunches forward, her hands pressed close to her eyes as she tries to cover the stream of tears running down her face. What? Sorry. Oh, that was the dog. Just when Noah slid off the screen, it sounded like he was doing like a squeaky noise. Anyway, as an act of comfort, Colby sits closer to Nina while Noah fetches tissues for her. Hugo, on the other hand, is puzzled. So the whole thing has been going on for the past month. Something doesn't add up. Before nightfall, I think there is more to this she is not admitting. Whatever happened with that letter, I'm more than certain. Certain that whoever, or whatever Lewis is, they're coming for blood. Oh! Wait, so if I just reject the case, is that just game over? Well, that was the intro, so take the case. Why else wouldn't I take the case? Why do you always look so unimpressed? Do you need another coffee? I think that's what you need. Do you want more tissues? We'll do it. We'll take on your case. For a moment, everything goes still. Their eyes and attention are slowly directed at Hugo, whose eyes have a certain glint to them now unwavering and more determined than ever. Before anyone speaks, Nina stands up, wipes away any stray tears from her face, and walks up to him. You'll take it? Hugo simply nods. Thank you. Thank you. You don't know how much this means to me. We're glad to help, Miss Nina. Please, just call me Nina. Well, Nina, we'll do our best. Nina smiles at Hugo and Noah in gratitude. Her eyes renew with a faint gleam, a hope that maybe things will change for her and her family for the better. However, before heading out, Nina reaches into her bag once more. She takes out a small piece of paper and a pen and hastily starts jotting down something. 4970 Church Street. Oh, it's the address. I see. I'd best be on my way now. I'll let grandfather know ahead of time you'll be coming. Also, this is my address. I'll be sure to greet you all when you arrive. And thank you, truly. She politely bows to them and walks out of the office, already reaching into her purse for her car keys. Hugo watches from his desk as she goes to open the driver's seat. Nina looks back at the office window and takes one last look at Hugo. She waves slightly at him before finally pulling out of the parking lot and driving off. Once out of sight, Hugo turns to look at the cluttered desk. Still messy, but presentable. I guess I'll have to sort these out later. Again. Alright, we're on our way, so it's time skipped a lot to basically the afternoon. let's go. Ooh, and it's raining as well. Very nice. From the ongoing downpour to the quiet hums of the car, they sit in silence. Still, miles off their destination, Hugo constantly checks the rear-view mirror to see any passing cars. But it was only them on the road. Noah, who usually chats his ear off by now, leans quietly against the car door as he looks out to the passing streetlights, reserved and distant. He hasn't said a word to Hugo since they left the office. Oh, really? That seems very surprising. Hey, you're a lot quieter than usual. What's wrong? Huh, what a surprise. Have you been looking at me, Hugo? No, you idiot. You usually just talk a lot, that's all. So you do miss talking. Just say it. Do you believe her story? What? Given all the things she's told us, do you think she's telling the truth? Yeah, I believe her. Or at least, I believe she hasn't lied to us. But, you know, I can't shake this feeling that she's hiding something. Like, if she left out a certain detail on purpose. Also, why did she have to travel this far out of town for a private eye? Surely there must be another far closer to her home than this. I just don't know how to explain it. As expected of you, Hugo. Are you making fun of me? No, not at all. I'm just admiring your observations. I didn't want to offend Nina earlier, so I just kept quiet until she finished. But her last name caught me off guard. Have you heard of the Mortimers? They're a pretty distinguished family that owned a esteemed fishing company. Well, they used to, I believe. They have yet to name an heir. What do you mean? Didn't it naturally go to Nina? It should, but I don't know. From what I heard, each time they try to name a successor, that relative mysteriously disappears. Ooh, interesting. Is it gonna be to do with ocean curses? I don't know. Gone without a trace, or so anyone thought. Their bodies would soon turn up months after. And you know what's strange? All of them have been labeled as accidents by local news. No foul play, just another unfortunate loss for the family. They've been struck with so many tragedies that, over time, people believe they were cursed or something. Cursed? I think I can understand why she wouldn't want to go to the police again. They most likely thought she was just seeing things and went along with the procedures just to keep face. But deep down, they must have thought she had gone mad. I can't imagine all of this for Nina. Most of all, who knows what we'll find there? Is that why you decided to come with me? Well, partially. I'm more worried about you, though. Me? Why? Think of it this way. I'm the appointed driver. When you decide to do some pretty reckless crap, I'll be there to drive you to the local hospital. Huh? Besides, 2 is better than 1. Exactly. I was fine with Colby coming with me. Hey, the dog's here. Well, have you heard that 3 is better than 2? Mortimer Estate. Oh, okay, so it's a bit of a fair drive. Half an hour later. Ooh, cutscene? Passing through countless dirt roads and steep cliffs, the estate can finally be seen through beyond the evergreen. Nestled away from prying eyes, it stands tall, magnificent, and classic. Truly a rarity only afforded to the privileged. And yet, with all its opulence, looms from a distance. Hugo and Noah could only gaze at the sheer scale of the manor. Its grand stature topples easily over the dozens of houses they drove past. Whoa, look at the size of it. I could never imagine seeing a house like this in person. It's almost too surreal. Come on, she's waiting for us. Ooh. Immediately after exiting the driver's seat, a sudden sharp pain weighs heavily on Hugo's chest. Grasping tightly at his coat, he begins to grasp for air. His vision hazes as he leans close to the car, trying desperately to ground himself. What's going on? Oh no. Like a fish drawn out of the sea, he desperately heaves. The air in his lungs escaping too quickly burns as he feels his throat starting to strain, drawing tighter the more he breathes. But this pain pales in comparison to a feeling far more excruciating. Is it the house? No. Something far more sinister. He feels it. Someone is watching him. A piercing gaze fixed on him, like leering at a bug and waiting to strike. We'll be together soon, Henry. What the hell? Damn it already. I need to hurry or else. Hey, are you alright? Noah calls out to him, snapping him out of his fixated trance. Colby nudges his head against Hugo, whining with concern over his partner's well-being. Did you hear that just now? Hear what? That voice. It was so close to my ear, Is everything alright? Oh, hello, Nina. That is a little weird. So does Hugo have a connection somehow? And that's why he's affected? Oh, I'm fine. Don't mind me. I'm just a bit winded out from the trip is all. I'd be happy to make you tea at the very least. Oh, yes. Thank you. If it's no trouble. No, not at all. It's the least I can do. Once again, the subtle uneasiness from Nina surfaces. But before Hugo could get a chance to look further into it, she walked off towards the front porch without saying another word. Are you sure you're alright? You sounded like you were choking earlier. I said I'm fine. Besides, we're already here. We can't back out now. Listen to me. I think you should... Noah abruptly cuts his lecture short as he notices Nina stopping by the front door. Why is that odd? He stands by the door, silently, contemplating something. Does she not want to go in? Does she know what's waiting for her on the inside? Just like before, but this time, she seems more anxious. Whatever unease she tried to mask earlier became more apparent the minute they walked closer to the front door. Yeah, so she doesn't want to be around her grandfather. I haven't been quite honest with you, Detective. Oh, what a surprise. Hugo knew what was up. Just like before, as if carefully choosing her next words, she decides that in this situation, words are not enough. You'll see for yourselves what I mean. And with that, Nina enters the house, leaving the three to follow behind. Hugo is about to enter through the foyer when he feels a tug on his arm. Don't forget what I told you. If something happens, let me know right away. What? Are you not coming in? Are you staying outside? You'll be the first to know. What about Colby? I feel like Colby could sniff out some mysterious beings going on. And with that, Noah releases his grip on Hugo. They proceed to head in, not knowing what awaits them beyond the door. Ooh, I want to know. Greeted with a brightly lit hallway, Hugo noticed immediately that the interior is just as grand. Adorned with floral accents and antique furnishings, the house itself excuse the word elegance. A classic and rustic charm, the walls and floorings made from the finest wood. Hugo can't complain, but gaped when he walked in. Couldn't help but gape when he walked in. However, he notices something even more distant than the splendor. Behind the seemingly perfect veneer, an unsettling air breathes throughout the house, leaving no room for doubt that the inside is far more terrifying than the outside. Please, come this way. Who are you? Bracing themselves, they enter the dimly lit drawing room. At first glance, Hugo could not discern the silhouette situated at the far corner. Only the sparse lighting from the window pierces through a fraction of the room's darkness. However, as they approach close to the silhouette, Hugo now understands the reason for all of Nina's unsettling vagueness. Grandfather, we have guests. I don't think Grandfather's okay. Grandfather looks like he's 23 and he has glowing green eyes. He's made a deal with someone. Sitting on the armchair is a very young man, not much older than Hugo or Noah. He's dressed modestly and shares none of the imposing presence of the manor. No, rather such luxury does not even remotely reflect on the man before them all. It's as if the flow of time had stopped only for him, while the rest had continued changing drastically without him. Just like the letter, timeless, delicate, and jarringly out of place. Staring only at the window, the young man sits there dazed with little acknowledgement of the people around him. Still, motionless, like a doll. Grandpa, these are the people I spoke of. This is Detective Laurent and his two assistants, Colby and Noah. They're going to help us. Henry. Oh, so yeah. So he is Henry. That's what I was thinking. So is Lewis the one that is talking to him? Or is it just someone that goes by the name Lewis? Remember our promise, Henry. Even after introducing them to the head of the Mortimer estate, Hugo and Noah could not help but feel unnerved. The man before them is supposed to be frail and older than any of them, and yet here he remains, forever unchanging, forever young. They've come a long way, so I'll be making some tea. Would you also like some, Grandpa? He does not reply back, nor does he glance at Nina or anyone else in the room. Only fixates his gaze on the rain, nothing else. I'll be sure to make a cup for you too. She then timidly gestures to Hugo and Noah back to the foyer. Bearing more questions, the two follow Nina outside. But before they leave the drawing room, Hugo takes one last look at the young man. There is an all too familiar air about Henry Mortimer. His eyes, they're similar to his own. Whatever he must be longing for, Hugo knows it will never end well. Wait, what do you mean by they're similar to his own? The fact that he looks tired and dazed and he's had a hard life? Or the fact that Hugo is somehow Henry Mortimer? Huh? I'm not gonna think that, but if it is, I'm gonna be confused. Nina, that man. Yes, he's my grandfather, the one I asked you all to watch over. I know this is hard to believe, but... Nina draws something out of her pocket. It's an old picture of a handsome man with slicked back hair, wearing the finest of suits. Is that Henry? The gentleman in the picture has a different air to him, one of wealth and power, none of which reflects at all on the current Henry Mortimer. It's almost as if looking at two different people. Ooh, what if it's like a combination of someone's soul in his body? I'm coming up with too many things now. This isn't much to go on by, but believe me, they are the same person. And why does he look so young? It happened a few nights ago. I was on my way to get a cup of water when I heard a loud thud coming from my grandfather's room. I was worried that something fell over, so I went to go check. When I opened the door, I found him collapsed on the ground. I rushed to help him, but when I did, he looked so different. He wore the same clothes that my grandfather wore that night. And his face, I recognized his face. He looked younger. So many things were rushing through my head at the moment, and yet I knew he felt familiar to me. I know it sounds bizarre the more I talk about it, but that's what happened. That was also the same night I found that letter. It was next to him, already opened. I'm sorry again for all this. So did he open the letter and then he got cursed? But if this has been going on for a month, what's been happening then? No matter where I went to, they either said something was wrong with me or my family. With whatever's going on, maybe they're right. The pools of water, the letters, Lewis, and now this. I've been ignoring the signs for years, just blindly hoping things can get better if I try finding solutions on my own. But that's not enough anymore. Maybe my family is really No, they're not. Curses aren't real. Detective? I think we easily get too involved in believing that sort of thing exists. In truth, the ones who fixate it make it their reality. Rumors, doubts, lies, all of these things are what they want to become real. Deep-rooted emotions like that can possibly be healed or fixed right away. Did you have a past history with curses, Hugo? But like a curse, these emotions drag other people down with them. Personally, I think you're all caught up in all of this, but I assure you, we'll see this through. For you and Mr. Mortimer. Thank you. Good. Now, our first priority is to find out more about Lewis. Nina, the letter you showed us back at the agency, do you have it with you? Yes, it's here. Do you mind if I borrow it for a bit? I'll be sure to give it back. Of course, but where are you going with it? Or what are you going to do with it? I've searched everything on that letter, and I still couldn't come up with clues. I'll be using it as a reference or a guide, if you will. I'm afraid I can't discuss too much of the process, trade secret and all. Of course. I'll check upstairs. Noah, you and Colby check the ground floor. Got it. Before they leave to do their own investigations, Hugo grabs a hold of Noah's shoulder. I was gonna say Nia. Leans in close, enough for Nina not to hear. Keep a close eye on Mr. Mortimer and Nina. Especially Nina. I don't want her to be dragged any more than she already is. So whatever happens, keep her safe. Hugo, you... Fine. Remember, yell for me, okay? I know. Thank you, Noah. I'm counting on you. You too, boy. Alright, you two. You get on the case. I'm gonna go upstairs. With a final nod at them, Hugo then goes towards the staircase and head upstairs. Noah stares for a moment longer at Hugo's back before he disappears into the first floor. He then turns to look at Colby. Well, it's time we get to work. Right, Colby? On to the case. Investigation start. Ooh, gameplay. What do I do? What do I do? What do I just do? I put? Huh? Hello? Oh, I'm playing as Noah? Mr. Mortimer still sits still, motionless by the corner of his room, his gaze never leaving the rain. Can I click on you? Yay. Ooh, phone. An old rotary dial telephone that looks like it's still in good use. A large bookshelf stands close to the entranceway. It contains a couple of photo albums and a few phone books. Okay, so that doesn't help me. Can I click over here? There's a picture, or yeah, it could be a picture covered up. Frames decorating the walls are covered in white sheets, veiled with a thin lining of dust on top of each one. Ooh. Wow, so many paintings covering the walls. Do you reckon it has pictures of the old family? And maybe they've disappeared from the photos? Are there more like this all over the house? Yes, my grandfather commissioned many back in the day, but sadly, he doesn't do that anymore. Nina, I can't help but notice the paintings are covered. How come? I did that. I covered them up for my grandfather's sake. For his sake? Yes, he was pretty obsessed with them, you see. There were times when he would mutter to himself and would just stare at the paintings for days on end. Ooh, is whoever painted them this Lewis guy? I don't know. It worried me so much that I had to cover them all. Since then, he hasn't stared at any of them. He sits quietly, looking outside. I see. About the paintings, I also noticed they all have a similar theme. They all had water in them. I know this isn't a coincidence since you've told us before, but if there's anything you know, anything at all, then please tell me. Noah, can I ask you a question first? Sure, go ahead. Do you believe in mermaids? It is gonna be an ocean curse thing. Mermaids? I don't suppose I do. Why? Casting her gaze to the floor, Nina anxiously fidgets and tightly clasps her hands together. She then briefly sighs and continues. Well, there's this story, or rather, more like a fairy tale that my family has passed down. A fairy tale? Yes, well, it feels like one to me. It was about a fisherman who fell in love with a mermaid. Every day and night, he would go out by the shore to gaze at her beauty. But one day she vanished, leaving him confused and heartbroken. Determined, he would sail many seas for a chance to see her again. Sailing from coast to coast, new lands beyond, and back he would go. Not long after, fortune followed him all throughout his journey and made him one of the wealthiest and most highly respected in his village. However, despite all the wealth he had gained throughout his travels, he never found the mermaid again. She would only be a dream, nothing more. And that's the end of the story. It doesn't end happily, but I guess that there was a lesson behind all of it. I just never understood it. What do you think happened to the mermaid? I know it's an exaggeration, and yet I can't help wonder. It's hard to say. I just feel bad for both of them. Huh? To be honest with you, I'm not a fan of sad endings. If it were me, I would wish the fisherman and the mermaid could see each other again. Or at least, that's what I think. Even if they weren't meant to be with each other? Yeah, I think so at least. I wouldn't want to imagine going through a journey all by myself. It's hard being alone. A journey all by yourself. Mortimer Estate, 11:30. Whoa, we just jumped time again! Whoa! Are we playing as Hugo? So, I actually don't know what's going on. They just keep throwing stuff at me. So now we've got mermaids. So there's gonna be like some ocean creatures. Are we bringing some like Lovecraft Cthulhu into this? After searching vigorously through each of the rooms, he knew his findings would eventually lead him here. This is it. A bedroom. You've done it. You've cracked the case, Hugo. Hugo walks towards the nearest lampshade and switches it on. Dimly illuminated, he sees the extent of how lavish this part of the house is. From the customized window drapes to the vintage furnishings, everything here exudes the extravagance. But much like the interior Hugo has seen so far, he finds this one in particular reeks of it. Plastered from wall to wall, a gloom lingers. It's as if the room itself is mouldering, despite its preserved nature. Ooh, so it's old? Is the house got a soul somehow? Who knows? Classic wooden chest lies on the foot of the canopy bed. Its lock still firmly holds, safeguarding whatever's inside. Can we get in? Do we need a key? Maybe we need a key. You. A meticulously organized set of academic books, ranging from non-fiction to geography, are all on display. However, hidden away behind the vast collection are some children's fairy tales, all carefully kept. Are they like The Little Mermaid? There's obviously some sort of... Whoa, that is... Oh, how do I go back? There's obviously some ocean thing connection. Frame? Papers? Okay, well, you seem important. Oh, cute. An old photo of a lost time. Sweet summertime memory of little girl with her beloved father. Huh, so that's Nina, presumably. Atop the fireplace, unblemished and unmarked by time, hangs a curious and familiar painting of a beautiful woman floating on water. See, that one's not covered up. Maybe he doesn't like that one? A leather-bound journal rests on the edge of the table. Pages are all torn out haphazardly, but the binding itself is starting to fall out. So, are these the pages from the book? Scattered pages of paper all forgotten lie waiting on the cold floor. Heavenly etched markings are found scrawled over the pages. What do they say? What are you going to tell me information about what the pages say? We'll just pour ourselves a cup of tea. A pristine pearl white tea set sits patiently by, untouched and unused for quite some time. I need to hurry. I don't want to stay here for long. Okay. Little bit of time passed. Oh, you're gonna look through the papers? I want to know. He searches and searches, and still there is no sign of Lewis. Who is this Lewis? To Hugo, even if there is a fragment or a singular thread to that person, to their real selves, he could find them. But there is nothing. You searching the other drawers. We need to find a key for that chest. Not one thing pertaining to him. It's as if the thought of Lewis barely exists at all. What is going on? I clearly sensed that presence from before, but it's gone again. Damn it, I wish I had more time. No, calm down. It has to be here. Just need to focus. He ponders again, retracing every step and every little detail, hoping that he overlooks something. Is there an attic? We could go upstairs. Yet all he knows is that the one tangible thing that connects him to that tethers so closely to this space, and most of all to Henry, is the letter. Words of promise, of love, all delicately etched onto a page, but tainted with a powerful and dark emotion that has been festering for too long. Tainted? Tainted? What? From the very start of all this, Hugo believed that whatever Lewis was, they were the one responsible. He thought he could find them and convince them to stop their haunting for good, to bring them peace and to move on. However, that isn't the case anymore. The unnatural force that binds everyone so closely together in this family is not the cause of an angry spirit. No, something more devious than that. Have I missed something? Is there a clear point that I don't know? As he takes the letter out from the envelope, he notices a change within. The letter changed? Bearing no foreboding threat at the bottom of the page. It just looks like a regular letter, or rather, what it once was. A sad and tragic love. Huh? If you can't come, then I understand. Things have gotten more complicated with your mother ever since she found out about us, right? I'm sorry, Henry, for everything. It hurts to see you so torn up like this. I would never hurt you or drag you along with me. If this is to be our farewell, then can I ask you one last favor? Could you keep my locket? I know this is selfish of me, but I'd like for you to have it. I'd be happy to know it's safe with you. My heart will forever be yours, Henry. With love always, Lewis. So, this was the true letter. A small warmth emanates from the paper, wrapping closely around his fingers, quiet and soothing. Was the letter swapped with Nina? Did she write something? The fragment Hugo was searching for. Lewis, I'm sorry. You were also a victim in all of this too. Please, you can hear me. I need your help. Ooh, ghosts? Without a warning, the sound of a click can be heard across the bedroom, as if something unlocked itself. Oh, the chest! Hugo turns his head towards the sound and sees the chest. Unlike the other furniture, its dark and rustic features have not been maintained well, left to rot on its own, obviously being abandoned. Suddenly, he stops at the sound of a voice, a sweet voice whispering to him, beckoning him towards the fireplace. Come here, my dear, sweet boy. Oh, I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna follow the voice. Let's do it. I'm gonna die. Wait, the painting's talking to me? There, mounted on the fireplace, is a painting of a beautiful woman floating on water. Her pale skin is incandescent, brilliantly prominent against the contrast of the dark, murky waters that keep her hidden, keep her bound to the canvas. Hugo stares intensely at the picture. An empathetic sorrow swells within him, disarming his very senses and forcing him to inch closer. They were talking about mermaids before. If I think about sirens, are we being lured right now? Surrendering himself to the sweet song. Poor thing, how lonely you must feel. You are a lot like him, like Henry. As Hugo approaches closer and closer to the painting and his mind screams to run, he sees it. He can finally see beyond the facade the lady portrays, for what the painting truly is. Oh no, what is it gonna look like? But don't worry. I can take away that sadness. A deformed creature, a mermaid, floats above the surface. The voice whispers. Large, hollow eyes stare back, boring deeply into his eyes. Her skin is melting, bleeding heavily this black ichor as it gushes out from the canvas. Some of it starts to hit not only the floor, but as Hugo as well. The black vicar tar clings persistently onto him, unrelentless as they continue to pile up. Then he feels it. What drew him initially to this thing? A deep sense of longing rushing through him, snuffing out what little control he had left. Finally embracing this nature. To come home. Take my hand. Without hesitation, Hugo reaches out his hand while his body leans in closer to the mermaid. Oh, we're gonna die for sure. She grabs and pulls him in. Uh-oh. Not once looking back, he dives and follows after her, returning to nothing. We just died. Bad ending. I didn't save it all. Uh-oh. Alright, so... I guess we'll never know the other ending. So that will be a mystery forever. We got the bad ending. I knew that was a mistake. I should not have gone towards the painting. That was entirely my fault. But I was too curious. My damn curiosity. But anyway, I kind of like that. Obviously, they have this connection to mermaids and... I don't know. We were just lured there. But why us? What is our connection? Why was Hugo lured to that place? And what was going on with the grandpa? I'm guessing if you got the good ending, you would find out. But I'm gonna stick to my choices. I chose my path, and that's what happened. I died. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and if you sat through it and enjoyed my reading of this. Thank you. I appreciate all of you, and yeah, guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Alrighty, bye!